Hello and welcome to Addicted to the Mouse. Today is Sunday, September 9th, and you're listening to episode number 64. Today we're starting a new guide on Disney World resorts.
Hey everybody, Dan and Leslie here. Thanks for joining us this week. We are excited to start this little series on the Disney World resorts. But before we get into that, if you have something that you want to hear us talk about, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us on various social media. So we are pretty active on Facebook and Instagram, and then kind of on Twitter as well, correct?
Yeah.
You manage the Twitter
Well,
part.
I mean, not super active on Twitter, but yeah, everything that we post goes on there. So
yeah. So Facebook or our email, Dan and Leslie, Leslie, at addictedtothemouse.com.
That's right. And if you want to, again, just going to throw that out there. If you want to see everything we're talking about, you can check out this podcast in video form at YouTube on our YouTube channel, which is Worth Melting For, all one word, Worth Melting, and then the number 4. So check that out. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. Go ahead and click that like button and subscribe if you like what you see. So,
yeah.
All right. Are we ready to get this started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So today is part 1. We want to go a little more in depth on what you can get on the Disney World resorts. We are starting with the Deluxe categories. Real quick, would you run us through? Let's hang on. So today we're doing the monorail resorts. We're doing the Contemporary. We're doing the Grand Floridian and the Polynesian.
Yes.
So now would you quickly run us through the differences in the Deluxe versus moderate and value resorts?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think probably one thing that's fairly obvious is that whenever you are in a value resort, you're going to have a smaller room than a moderate, and a moderate's going to have a smaller room than a deluxe. So as you inch up in categories, it also inches up in size a little bit on the square footage of your room.
So, okay, if you've never even looked at Disney World before, Disney has essentially 3 categories of resort rooms.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple little subcategories that we won't get into until a later episode, but deluxe, moderate, and value. So value are the cheaper ones that don't have quite as many amenities. Obviously, moderate is the middle ground, and then deluxe, if you are really liking the amenities and the extras and the pampering and getting the little things like a little bit more square footage, then those are the most expensive rooms that you can buy. So
right. Yeah. So another difference is that all value resorts have quick service locations, but they do not have table service. So whenever you get up into moderate resorts, they'll have and deluxe, they both have table service restaurants available. And then deluxe resorts, many of them, not all of them, have signature dining as well. So it's even a nicer meal on top of that.
Right.
And then resort transportation is another thing that changes as you increase in the level of resorts. So at the value resorts, at least currently right now,
yeah,
all that is available,
all subject to change,
is bus service. Now, that's going to change with the gondolas that are currently being constructed, but that's all that's available at this current time. And then moderates have bus service, as well as some of them have boat service to various places.
Mm-hmm.
And then deluxe resorts have bus service, and then most of them have another type of transportation. So whether it's
they all do, don't they? Don't they all have at least 2 types of transportation?
Animal Kingdom doesn't. So
yeah.
So that's the only one that doesn't have anything other than buses. But all of the other deluxe resorts have 2 forms of transportation to parks or Disney Springs or something. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the on-site recreation changes a little bit as well. They all offer pools, and all of their pools are heated and very well themed, but the value resorts don't have slides.
Right.
Whereas the moderate resorts do have slides, and then we inch up into having some water playgrounds like splash pads as well.
Yes. And did you mention the balconies?
No. And so the only resort level that offers balconies or patios are the deluxe resorts.
Right. So we like that because we will go out on our balcony in the evenings after a long, hard day of wandering the parks and
A long, hard day of work.
yeah, it's very rough. And then maybe sit out there and have a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
And just kind of relax and reflect on the day, which is nice.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to get into these 3 particular resorts that we're talking about today?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with the Contemporary Resort. We are going to talk about these resorts and cover several categories in this series of podcasts. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to start with dining, and then we're going to move into lounges. And I would highly recommend, if you don't have any interest in staying at one of these resorts, to at least check out some of these places while you're in Disney World. You absolutely don't have to stay in a resort to enjoy the amenities that they have. Well, to enjoy the dining that they have. You don't have to stay in the resort. You do have to stay in the resort to enjoy like the pools and stuff. But yeah, some of these restaurants are fabulous restaurants. And
some of them are really just truly beautiful and decorated nicely. And especially depending on the time of year that you travel.
Yeah, for sure. So dining and lounges, and then you're going to get into the rooms a little bit, just kind of an overview on what the rooms have. And then we're going to talk overall amenities for each resort, and then also which transportation applies to which of these resorts. So we're talking about the monorail resorts today. So they all have monorails. So spoiler alert on that. So, all right, so let's talk about the Contemporary Resort. So let's start with we'll go maybe cheaper to more expensive dining options.
Okay.
And then hit the lounges from there. Okay, so basically the cheapest, easiest place to get any sort of food is going to be your pool bar. So they have 2 pools at the Contemporary. And you've got the Sandbar and the Cove Bar, which you can get some light offerings out there. But really the first actual restaurant is going to be the Contempo Cafe. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is a quick service restaurant. And you've got things like flatbread pizzas here. It is not too terribly expensive. If you go for breakfast, you can get like pancakes for $8.79. You can get sides, breakfast potatoes, $3.29 a piece. You get sandwiches there for lunch and dinner. Those are around $12. The flatbread, they are about $11.50 each. So it's pretty nice. They have really good pastries there as well, so you can check those out. Anything else on the Contempo Cafe?
I don't think so, no.
So right around the corner from that is one of our favorite locations.
Yeah, this is kind of a new favorite.
Nope.
I was thinking of the other one. Sorry.
So Chef Mickey's is right around from Contempo Cafe. It backs up to it right there. It's also open for breakfast, brunch, and dinner. Yeah. And it is a character meal, and you meet the Fab Five there. So Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, and Pluto, and they're all decked out in their chef attire. Yeah, so Chef Mickey comes out in a chef coat and everything. And it's fun. They do, especially if you can get it for like when they're switching from breakfast to brunch. That typically is a good time. It's a great option if you're not staying there to maybe go on your Magic Kingdom day. If you've got a couple of days and you don't mind leaving the park for a couple hours, we typically do that on kind of our midday. So if it opens at 8, we're out of there maybe 10:30, a reservation somewhere around 11, and then we can get the end of breakfast, start of brunch. So we get a couple of things there, and then we're back in the park by 12:30 or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great tip. And you can walk from Magic Kingdom, so it makes it really convenient.
Absolutely. So the new favorite that you were talking about is on a level below that. It's called the Wave. It is really good. It is reasonably priced. So this is a table service restaurant. There are 3 table service restaurants in the Contemporary: Chef Mickey's, the Wave, and then we'll get to it, the California Grill. But it is it's got a great little buffet if you want to do that for breakfast, which is pretty reasonable. And then it is
what I really like about the breakfast too is that you can order the mimosas, which you get. Is it three mimosas for $18?
Yeah.
Or you can get Bloody Marys there as well, and they're really, really good.
So entrees for lunch and dinner are anywhere between $14 and $20, and you're talking about pastas and protein bowls, burgers, sandwiches, that kind of stuff. It is just a kind of a nice, for a sit-down meal, it's pretty reasonably priced.
And it doesn't really ever seem to be very busy, at least not when we've experienced it.
Yeah,
yet.
you can
So-
always typically get a dining reservation if you're looking for something close to Magic Kingdom that you can just either walk over or take the monorail, and it's pretty. And if you're staying at the Contemporary, it's a great place to get breakfast and then walk over to the Magic Kingdom on your Magic Kingdom day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so one of our favorite signature restaurants is also located in the Contemporary. It is called California Grill.
I love the California Grill.
So it is really, really good. It is open for brunch on Sundays and then dinner service. It is on the top of the the Contemporary Resort.
Yeah.
So you can go up there and watch the fireworks. If you have your receipt or if you have reservations that night, you can watch the fireworks from their little catwalk. If you happen to get reservations during the fireworks, that's really cool because they dim the lights and you watch Happily Ever After, which is nice. It is pretty expensive, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a 2 table service credit if you're using your dining plan, and it is if you're going a la carte, it starts getting pricey. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna look up a couple of the prices here. The cheapest probably you can go, so you can get hand-rolled sushi in the 20s for an appetizer. They've got other appetizers for like $17, $16. And then the entrees, I mean, spaghetti is $40, rack of lamb is $50, so it's pricey.
But I have to say, I've never been disappointed.
It is great.
Anytime we've been,
it is amazing.
Phenomenal. And the brunch is absolutely to die for. So if you have some time on a Sunday morning to go for brunch, it's unlimited mimosas, and they have this fabulous spread that you can. It's like buffet with sushi and different types of salads and all kinds of things. And then on top of that, you actually order an entree.
I know.
And you have an appetizer plate, and you also have a dessert plate. So you like roll yourself out of there. You're quite miserable, but it's delicious.
Right. So lounges real quick. Obviously, you have your pool bars that we mentioned earlier. You've got Outer Rim, which is a dedicated lounge. It is, it's kind of in the lobby. It's outside of Chef Mickey's in the Contempo Cafe. But if you're looking for something there to just grab a drink real quick and maybe hang out, it's never really all that crowded. And then you've got, what's really neat is you've got the California Grill Lounge and then the Wave Lounge. And so if you don't have reservations, you can't get reservations because honestly, California Grill is pretty hard to get reservations sometimes, depending on when you're there. You can just run up and eat at the lounge if you want to. You can get a drink, and you don't have to have a reservation. That's.
Do you know if they offer their entire menu at the lounge? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But even if it's just a limited menu, it's great offerings. And so maybe you're not really wanting to take the total plunge on doing the 2 table service meal or the expensive meal, but this is an opportunity to get to see the fireworks and sit and have a drink and maybe an appetizer or a snack or something.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us about the rooms over there.
All right. So pretty much all of the monorail deluxe resorts here have 3 options. You have your deluxe studio type option. You have a 1-bedroom suite and then a 2-bedroom suite. So there's multiple options for depending on how many people are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Their rooms typically hold between 4 and 5 adults, or 4 and 5 people. So up to the studio is up to 4 guests. But if you have a child under the age of 3, they don't really count. So then you can actually push it to 5 if you're a family of 5, but one of your children is under 3. And then as you get into the 1-bedroom, it's accommodates up to 5 guests plus that additional child, so you can actually accommodate 6 there. And then your 2-bedroom accommodates up to 10.
Okay, and then I do want to point out that all 3 of these resorts do have a DVC, a Disney Vacation Club, which is like the Disney version of timeshare. They do have a DVC component to them. So at the Contemporary Resort, it's called Bay Lake Tower. It's the tall building just kind of northeast of the main, where the monorail goes in, the main building at the Californian. And then you can, if you happen to stay in that building, you can get a 3-bedroom grand suite.
Yes.
Grand villa, I guess they call it.
Ooh, and those look so pretty.
Those are pricey, though. So we've actually stayed in the 1-bedroom over there at Bay Lake, and it was really, really cool. It's a big room.
It is a very big room.
And then all of these monorail resorts, they also have the theme park view option versus the garden view option versus the pool option.
Well, and the lake option.
And the lake option, especially so for Grand Californian and Polynesian, the lake option is the theme park view option, whereas the Contemporary, there's a lake behind it as well. So there's a dedicated lake option.
Right. And so as your view improves, your price
improves as well. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if it's increases.
We'll be positive here. We'll be positive.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the lowdown on the resorts, and I do want to point out that if you are booking a room in the Contemporary Resort, number one, you should be calling your favorite travel agent, Leslie, here. Shoot her an email, and she can help you out.
Thanks for the plug, babe.
Yeah. So, but just make sure that you know exactly where because there are multiple buildings in the Contemporary Resort. So if you want to be in the main building where the monorail actually comes in, where the restaurants are and all of that, then just make sure that it's the right reservation, because there are cheaper garden view rooms that are in outer buildings, but it takes a bit of walking to get there, right?
Well, it's not too awful bad of walking, but I have to say that is a really great option if you want that location but don't want to pay the price of staying in the main tower. Those garden view options are nice.
So real quick, let's run down the amenities. So all three, we're just going to say the ones that apply to all three just once.
Okay.
So all three, you can see the electrical water pageant, which is these floats that go out, and they're kind of themed like patriotic themes and fish.
There's like a dragon, and there's fish, and I'm trying to remember what all there are. But anyway,
and then there's music, and
they're
floats that light up. So it's kind of fun. It's nostalgic. It's been around forever.
Oh.
And then you've got some water sports currently at the Contemporary Resort, but those are about to go away. So I'm not really going to get into those.
Yeah.
All of them, obviously, all resorts have the minivan service now, that option, which is basically Disney's version of Lyft. You book it through the Lyft app. All of them have bus transportation and Magical Express. And then I'm kind of getting into the transportation as well while we do this.
Yes.
All of these obviously have the monorail. So that's pretty handy. And there are 2 monorail loops. One takes you from these monorail resorts over to the Magic Kingdom, and it also goes to what's called the Ticket and Transportation Center. If you want to take the second monorail loop, which goes over to Epcot, you have to get off at the Ticket and Transportation Center and board the Epcot loop.
Right.
And then the obviously bus service. The coolest thing about Contemporary quote-unquote transportation/amenity is the fact that you can walk to the Magic Kingdom. Honestly, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
That's why we stay there. When we stay there is that you can just walk over to the Magic Kingdom.
It is super convenient. It's literally probably a 10-minute walk.
Yes.
And another really great perk is now that they've changed the security, you have your own security check-in area from if you're walking from the Contemporary, which is never busy. And then you don't have to go through the madness of the buses being let off that security line. So it's really, really convenient.
So, and then finally on the amenity front, there is a fitness center in the Contemporary main building.
Yes.
It is really small and really, I don't want to say old, but it's in an old building. The Contemporary opened in 1971 with Walt Disney World. So it's in one of those rooms in kind of a business office space, so you can work out there if that's your thing. There are running trails, which is nice, but if you want to lift weights, they have one. It's just not the best.
Yeah, it's limited options there.
Right. Okay. So that's going to do it for the Contemporary Resort. Let's move on over to the Grand Californian.
All right.
So Grand Californian dining. What do you think about dining here?
Oh man, here's my overall thoughts of Grand Californian Grand Floridian.
Grand Floridian.
You threw me off.
I know.
You said it.
Sorry, Grand Floridian. We are not going to Disneyland on this episode.
Grand Floridian is the theming is, what do you call it? Very Help me out here with the word.
What are you looking for?
So how would you describe the
Stuffy?
Well, I was trying not to say that.
It is. I don't know.
It's quaint. It's very Victorian. It's a little fancier. It's not really our style.
We've stayed there once, and for us, it is a little stuffy.
It was during the Christmas season, which was a great time to stay because their entire lobby smells like a gingerbread house because it has the life-size gingerbread house in it. But I have to say, I don't know that I would choose to stay there again necessarily. And I know people out there that love the Grand Floridian are going to be like yelling at their radios right now or whatever that they're listening to us on. But it's a great place. It just didn't blow me away as far as our comfort level. So I'm going to say that, but It is beautiful. It is very well themed, and there are some of my favorite dining here.
Yeah.
So while I don't necessarily like to stay here, I do like to eat here.
I totally agree. So let's talk about those. So in the same theme, I guess, as that's not the right word, but this has 2 pools as well, just like the Contemporary. They're heated. There's like there's a splash pad that's part of.
That's super fun. It's like
really cool.
It's like a Alice in Wonderland type theme. So it's really, really cute. The kids had a ball in that.
So the quick service options to eat. We ate at the Grand Floridian Cafe a couple of times just to get something quick. It was okay. There's Gasparilla Island Grill. Obviously, you've got your pool bars that you can get some snacky type stuff at. But on top of that, they've got several really, really nice restaurants here. So. Yes. One of them is the buffet. So just like Contemporary had Chef Mickey's, the Grand Floridian has 1900 Park Fare. It is also a character buffet meal. We've eaten there once. The food was really good. In the morning for breakfast, it is like Winnie the Pooh type people,
well,
Alice in Wonderland.
It's a supercalifragilistic breakfast.
Okay, is that how you group those 2 together?
Yeah, so you
got Tigger and Alice. And
you have Alice and
Mad Hatter,
and I believe we met Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah,
as well. So it's kind of a little bit of a little smattering of different people, which all of those, as all character dining, it is subject to change, especially when you're dealing with face characters, meaning that you can actually see their face because Disney hires specific people for those roles. So it's like if that person's sick and they don't have a replacement, then somebody else will come out. Right. But the cool part about 1900 Park Fare is in the evening, it turns into the Cinderella's Happily Ever After dinner. And that is with Cinderella, Prince Charming, the evil stepmother, and the stepsisters. And so once again, they're all face characters, so those are subject to change. I've heard that the sisters are sometimes replaced with Cinderella's mice whenever one of them is ill. But from my understanding, we haven't been. I'm dying to go, but they are hysterical, apparently. So.
Awesome. You've also got Citrico's, which is a really nice table service dinner. It is not cheap either. So entrees for dinner, you're talking about like short ribs and swordfish and scallop risotto, beef fillet, that kind of stuff. It's Mediterranean inspired, but it gets pretty good reviews, so that might be one to check out. It is open for dinner only. Yes. And then you have got an amazing restaurant out kind of by the water on Bay Lake, which is called Narcoossee's, which is a seafood theme. We've eaten there several times. They also have a brunch, just like California Grill. Yes. That brunch is fantastic.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Really, really good, but they've got, lobster and that type of stuff, and they got a really good bar and drink menu in there. And you can see the fireworks from Narcoossee's as well if you time it correctly. And then finally, they've got this crazy awesome restaurant that we've never eaten at called Victoria and Albert's. It is super expensive. It is about $500 for 2 people. but you dine like royalty. It is one of these huge events, something for a very special occasion. It's like a 10-course menu, tasting menu.
Yeah.
And
I think 7. Well, I think it depends if you're doing the chef's table or the regular restaurant or what. But yes, multiple courses.
Awesome. So, yeah. All right. So let's...
and that one does have a dress code as well as no one under the age of 10, I believe, can dine there.
Okay.
So they definitely, whereas the other nice restaurants like California Grill and Narcoossee's, we've taken our children to, and we're very comfortable taking
Yeah, this
our
is really
kids
the
to
only
it,
one that we
so-
wouldn't take our kids. Of course, we wouldn't take them just because it costs so much for them. So.
Right.
Okay, so rooms real quick. Same types of rooms as the Contemporary.
Yep.
I will say that the Grand Californian has a concierge or
Grand Floridian.
Grand Floridian. Dadgummit.
What?
I don't know. I don't know why it's in my mind. There is a Grand Californian, by the way.
There
It's
is.
over at Disneyland.
It's just not here.
So, but they have concierge level.
Yes, they do. Yeah, so club level, concierge level, you'll hear it called both things, and that's kind of a nice little perk if you want a little added area that you can go to. That they have snacks and drinks out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. You can go in for anytime and get unlimited stuff. So it's really good, especially if you're not on the dining plan and you maybe are going to be spending a lot of time at your resort, to look into a nicer club level room like that.
Okay. As far as amenities go, there is a really nice fitness center at Grand Floridian. It is kind of its own separate building. It is over toward. You can actually walk a path between the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, and so it's kind of it's closer towards the Polynesian, but it's on the Grand Floridian property.
Yeah.
The Polynesian does not have a working out facility, a gym. Fitness center, but you can, I believe, use the Grand Floridian if you're staying at the Polynesian.
Yes. And
so it's kind of amenity for both.
And in addition to that really nice workout facility, they have Senses Spa. And so you can actually go and get spa treatments, massages, facials, all kinds of things if you're wanting to look at doing something a little extra special while on your vacation.
Yes, it is pretty neat.
It is.
And then was there any other amenities there that?
I don't think so. They don't have the 3-bedroom villas at Grand Floridian, do they? Or do they? Actually, I think they do. I don't know.
We've never stayed at those.
I don't know.
The one cool thing that I don't know if this really falls under the amenity or not, but you can rent boats at the Grand Floridian. So you can rent boats and go out on the lake, which is kind of fun. You can do fishing expeditions. And again, they have jogging trails, which is kind of nice.
Yep. Yeah. So we kind of covered the transportation already, but just as a recap, it's monorail, buses, and the water boats.
Boat, yes.
Yep.
Yes, all 3 of these have boats as well.
Yes.
So let's move on to...
Polynesian.
Okay,
as
perfect.
our last one.
So Disney's Polynesian Resort is also been there quite some time. It opened along with the Contemporary Resort in 1971. So again, it's a little older, but it's been refurbished, which is actually one of my favorite resorts. I think it's one of your favorite resorts.
It's got a very island feel, if you couldn't tell by the name, and so it's very like laid back. There's actually this really cute little lady. I don't know. I assume that she's probably still there, but she actually was there at the opening, and she continues to be in the little atrium entryway area, and she makes little leis and hands them out to the kids. She's just so cute, and I just love her.
So, okay, let's talk about dining.
Okay.
There are a ton of places to get food at this
really
resort,
good
and they're
food.
really, really good. So, you've got... Let's just start with Captain Cook's. So on the first level, you've got this quick service place, which is actually really good. They've got some great pulled pork nachos there. If you're at Captain Cook's, grab those. Right next to it, I'm just going to mix lounges and...
Well, and Captain Cook's also has the famous Tonga Toast as a
That
quick
is
service
true.
option. So
That
if
is
you
true.
don't want to have a reservation at Kona Cafe.
That is true. You've obviously got the pool stuff. There are 2 pools here and a splash pad as well. Those are pretty new. Those have been refurbished recently. Then right next to Captain Cook's is one of our favorite lounges. It's called Trader Sam's Grotto. This was taken from Trader Sam's out in Disneyland Hotel. It's really, really fun. It's got some great drinks, and it's really immersive. They get some fun stuff if you order certain drinks. Like the waiters come out and spritz everybody with water, and it's like, it's really cool.
And you can take your kids up until 8 o'clock, I believe. 8 o'clock is whenever it becomes 21
opens at 4,
over.
kids at 8, and then 21 and over after that.
Yeah.
You've got the Kona Cafe, which is the table service restaurant that is not a big to-do, but it is famous for the Tonga toast. We've eaten there. It is pretty good.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews lately, but it's not bad. I think they actually revamped their menu recently. I think it went more sushi-based, but they've always had some sushi there. And then right around the corner from that, you've got Tambu Lounge, which... you can also get the pulled pork nachos at if you would like, but they've got some really great drinks. And
what's the one that the lapu lapu that it's in the pineapple? Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
It's a hollowed out pineapple,
Yeah,
and
that's what
it's a rum drink that comes inside of the pineapple.
Oh,
which
it's really good.
It's good. Then you've got Ohana. So Ohana is an all-you-care-to-enjoy. It's breakfast and dinner, right?
Yeah, so it's character breakfast.
Character breakfast with Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure why my computer... Oh, there we go. So character breakfast with Lilo and Stitch, and then at night, and that's like normal like breakfast food, Mickey waffles and that kind of stuff. And then at night, it turns into this like meat barbecue awesomeness.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
it's grilled skewers of shrimp and beef and chicken, and they bring it out to you, and they've got these pot stickers as appetizers, and noodles,
such good
and
pot stickers.
and then there's this fabulous just banana bread pudding that's at the end of it. It's just so good. So if you have a chance, it's also a pretty not cheap table service meal, but it's really, really good. And then finally, you can do the Disney Spirit of Aloha dinner show, which it's basically watching like hula dancers and fire twirlers, and it's a luau.
It's a luau. Yeah. So there's like a fire person.
We've never done it.
It is 2 table service credits. I've heard great things, but we've just never done it.
Right. So check it out.
There's only so much time in our Disney vacations.
I know.
We're trying to branch out. We're trying to try new things.
So favorite lounge here is Tambu Lounge and Trader Sam's. I'm not sure. They're both really good, and for different reasons, too.
Yeah.
And then finally, you can check out the pineapple Dole Whips at the Pineapple Lanai, which is kind of it's outside, out the back doors towards the pool, the big volcano pool. And that's really good.
And then around the corner at the Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace, you can get the spiked Dole Whip.
Yeah,
I don't recall exactly what it's
called.
called.
It's not called that. It's like a spiky pineapple or something. But it's a
really
Dole
good.
Whip soft serve mixed with rum.
Yep.
Which is, just sounds good. Okay, and then the rooms. What type of different rooms do we have here?
All right, so we basically have the same thing that we've talked about. So we have our deluxe and our 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom, and then we also have the club level that we mentioned before. So we've actually done the club level at Polynesian and really liked it a lot. It had a floor-to-ceiling window that was facing the Magic Kingdom, so they would pipe in the music and you could watch the fireworks at night from in there while you're sipping on a glass of wine or having some desserts or something like that. They have, once again, snacks all throughout the day, and soft drinks and beer and wine and all kinds of things. So really, really good. It's a fun, different experience.
It is. So I do want to point out that they also have the, what do you call the little cabins out on the water?
Oh, the bungalows.
So these are ridiculously expensive, thousands per night. They are DVC, but you can purchase them.
Yep.
We've obviously never stayed there because they're just too expensive. But they're actually on the water. They are these 2-bedroom cabins that are on the water, like on stilts on the water. And it's obviously a theme park view because it's across
Is it on the water, Dan?
It's on the water. I'm telling you, it's on the water. You can also rent boats here at the Polynesian as well. Transportation is basically the same as Grand Californian, with the caveat that from the Polynesian you can walk to the TTC.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to get on the monorail and take the monorail all the way around to get off of the TTC to go to Epcot. You can just walk right over to the TTC and grab the Epcot monorail.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It is a nice perk.
And then they have movies under the stars. So if you go out to, there is a beach area, and you can sit out there and watch the Happily Ever After fireworks. They'll pipe in the music there. And then also at certain times at night, they'll have movies out there as well, which is really nice. And then sometimes they do campfire activities where you can like roast marshmallows and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and you didn't mention it for the other ones, but the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian also have movies under the stars.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so that's basically our overview of the 3 monorail resorts. They are all really, really fun. We will do more in-depth reviews and videos about them in our How to Plan Disney series on YouTube. We are starting that probably in the next couple of weeks. I keep saying that. I've got the first one done, but it took so long to edit that video. I think I want to get through finishing the Alaskan videos, the trip reports, and then start on those.
Yeah.
So man, between editing these videos now and then those videos, just adding a 3rd video per week with work and everything is a lot.
Yeah.
So, all right, what else?
I think that might be it. But if you are enjoying our podcast, go over to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you're listening to us at and give us a rating and review. We would love it. And then if you're on YouTube watching us, please subscribe. We would love to join you or have you join our little community.
Absolutely. And if you like the podcast and know anybody, send it to them. I was actually getting my haircut the other day, and I mentioned that, the lady was listening to music and asked what I like to listen to. And I said, honestly, I listen to podcasts all the time. And she goes, I've never listened to a podcast. What are they? I take it for granted that people know what podcasts are. And and so I just sent her a random podcast, and I don't know if she's going to listen to it or not, but just introduce people to podcasts. They're actually pretty fun.
Yeah, they really are.
We're fun people, right? So that's enough advertising ourselves. But
all right, so until next time.
You have been listening to Addicted to the Mouse.